All right, HBCU Legends fans, it's Kyle T. Mosley. Look, man, you ain't got to. You see the rings in the background. You know who it is. You know who he is. It's none other than the legendary Johnnie Cole. What's going on, Coach?
Hey man, not a lot of this and a lot of that, but a lot of everything. Enjoying life right now, and looking forward to man to get up each and every day and take care of my business.
Yeah, and that's what we need to be blessed about, right? And I was just talking to some of my family about what happened with Hurricane Helene and everything on the East Coast, affected in Florida, and the people up in Carolinas and Georgia. Still praying for you guys on that end as well. But Coach, I've been taking a look at some of your work lately. You've been doing some great job over at HBCU Go. Talk about how that came into fruition.
Well, you know what, I got to take my hat off to AJ. He got me off the couch, man. Like a matter of fact, on my birthday a couple of years ago, and he asked me to come on the show, and we hit it off so well, and things kind of snowballed until he saying, "Hey man, run your own show."
Right.
And then it just started gelling. I started getting used to it, and I got friends in the business. I've been around the business for 40 years, especially in black college football. As you know, a black college graduate as well as a head coach and a coach of the year in the SIC in the SWAC conference, and had the pleasure of winning a championship and been knowing Charlie Neal for a long time. Being in the black college business. Curtis Simon, who is the CEO at HBCU Go, he actually went to school with some of my brothers, and also his mother used to be the dance coach when I was in the Upper Bound program.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So, man, one thing led to another. I had Curtis Simon on my show. As you know, I've had Charlie Neal, Doug Williams, Bill Hayes, Pete Richardson. Some of the greats had great content. And, man, that call came. Kyle, it came. And Charlie had called me and said, HBCU Go is going to be calling you. And, just prepare yourself. And went through the interviewing process, man, and the rest. Right now is history. I've just done my second show, second game, and I got 3 more. And I'm looking forward, man, to being a part of the team.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job, man. And you're natural. You're a natural at it. Of course, you know the game so well. Being a part of it, like you said, you grew up, you played it at a high level, you coached it at a high level, and now you're commentating and giving the expert analysis on the game. So it was only a natural fit for you because you do it such with grace and style. So, and I really do appreciate what I'm hearing. I say, "Oh, that's Coach, man." I'm listening to Coach. So I appreciate you, Doc.
Yeah.
Also, you and Rocky have been doing your YouTube show for a while, right? And talk a little bit about that.
I can't say enough about Rocky Miller and his wife Keisha Miller and the Bishop Campbell, man. Just to take the time out of Rocky called me as well this summer and was like, "Hey man, I want to feature you." And I told him, "Well, man, look, there's no Batman if there's no Robert." And
right.
We got together on what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it, and the way we're gonna go about it. And we just needed one more. We needed that third wheel who has a HBCU background as well. And man, I tell you, it just all came together. And we really pick it up. We really moving faster than we really thought we would move because it's pretty much now places I go, people are watching it.
Yeah. So, just keep up the great work. I love it. I know a lot of the fans talk about it as well. Coop was talking about it down here. Ralph Cooper as well. So we're proud of you, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. But let's talk about what's happening in HBCU football. That's the most important thing. I wanted to get your kind of tale of what's happening. We're talking about 5 weeks down now, right? And right now we're talking about from week 5, 6, 7, 8. That's when people start to separate and the cream starts to rise to the top. Who do you see? Let's start with the SWAC first, since you know the SWAC very well. Who do you see in the SWAC that's kind of, you can see that separation is starting to take hold? I know they haven't played all of the games, but you can start to see teams that are kind of building something.
Well, it's no question that Florida A&M is still Florida A&M.
Yeah.
Have they dipped a little bit? It remains to be seen, because at the end of the day, winning is the only thing that counts. And they've been able to pull out some close games, but that's what it's about. But, Coach Cozy and his staff, and they got 40 new players, you would expect that. I had an opportunity to go see them play Norfolk, and, I thought Norfolk was going to pull it out. But at the end, winners win. And Florida A&M actually won the game. So, and that's the biggest disparity that you see. I guess it's good to have parity in the conference. That makes it advertising for the fans. But I don't see any team that have pulled away except for Florida. I chose Alabama State. I thought this was their year when they got Andrew Body, the transfer. I thought things was gonna move faster, but of course now everybody knows he's injured, and they're stumbling. They down to the fourth quarterback. I thought that Jackson State would really do a great job, but they stumbled against Grambling. That's a big loss, even though I don't think it's a counter. And then Grambling turn around and lose to Prairie View, who everybody knows lost to Texas Southern.
Right.
So I really don't see anybody jumping out. As you say, it's still kind of early. We right there in the middle, but I would like to see that. It's always been 2 or 3 teams right now that jump out in front of everybody. But Florida A&M is still questionable, Kyle, because they got a hard time stopping the run, and that's not championship football when you can't stop the run. So things are still up in the air. I thought Grambling was going to make a run after they beat Jackson State, but looking at the statistics of that game, Jackson State and Grambling, I mean, they had 400 and some total yards, Jackson State did. To Grambling's 200 and something. But the problem was Jackson State had 5 turnovers. And of course,
the turnovers. That's right.
You can't win. You can't win football games with 5 turnovers.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, man, because I will be at Alabama State's homecoming this weekend to watch Florida A&M and Alabama State. So those are the 2 programs that right now in the SWAC East, they have to be able to win. It's always been Jackson State and Florida A&M, who won that game, pretty much will run the table, so to speak, and win that division, right? Last year, Florida A&M, they won, they ran the table. This year, Florida A&M, like you say, it looks like they're the top dogs right now. If they're able to go into Montgomery and win that game, would you say that it's pretty much lights out for the rest of the division there?
Well, they still got to play Jackson State, so that could be it. And Florida A&M, getting past Alabama State will be real big. It will be big for them, because Alabama State and Jackson State got to play. So whoever meet, and firstly, I guess it's Florida A&M, Jackson State. Alabama State win, then that will put them ahead. Of course, if Florida A&M wins, that will put them ahead. So it's a big matchup. I know a lot of the coaches, so I spoke to some of the coaches at Alabama State. Of course, you know, we know Coach Cozy and stuff who's been on our show. They all big, they all ready to go, you know, and they know how big this game is.
Well, speaking of that, you know, Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., he's done a great job over at Alabama State with the Hornets, especially after losing Andrew Body in the Orange Blossom Classic. They have rebounded. They also have a good running game, and that running game has really been something that has propelled that team. And you spoke about how you're concerned with Florida A&M going against the run. Do you think that will be the evening point or the tipping point for Alabama State?
Well, these are the 2 points going into that football game. Is how well does the quarterback play for Florida A&M, which is probably right now the best quarterback in Black college football.
Yeah, Daniel, he's doing very well.
Yeah, and can Alabama State keep him off the field because a great defense is an offense that keeps the other offense off the field. So that's very important field position. It's going to be very important. And I think the thing up in this game going to determine the winner is the special teams. Whose special team is better? Because you know, Alabama State is going to run the football.
Right.
There's no question. And it's kind of a win-win for Coach Robinson. You know, those defensive head coaches, you know, they like to pound the ball. So
that's right.
So he really getting what he wants. Coach Barnett, his offensive coordinator, you know, he likes to mix it up. But you know, I think they get their quarterback back. Harris, I think his name. I think he's coming back.
You talking about O'Brien.
O'Brien. I'm sorry. Yeah, O'Brien.
Harris is with NCCU.
NCCU. I kind of got him mixed up. But O'Brien, I think he's getting him back. He's coming back from a concussion. So, and that would be a big boost for Alabama State.
Yeah. Well, man, I think all in all, it's going to be a great atmosphere in Montgomery to have those two teams at this juncture of the season fighting tooth and nail to see who can get the edge in this tilt, right? So let's talk about the MEAC. What's happening there, Coach? I mean, NCCU, we already knew they were going to be the kings of the MEAC once again. Howard looks like they've dropped off quite a bit, but there's a new guy called Chennis Berry there. He looks like he's ready to take on. And in a few weeks, they're going to play the Eagles. What's your take on this division right now?
I'll say this. You know, if I had to match what coaching staffs are the best, I would look at the MEAC. You know, they got experienced coaches over there. Dennis Berry, Odom, of course, Trey Oliver right now is probably the best Black college coach. And I shouldn't say Black college. He would get on. He's a great head coach for that university. He's got them going in the right direction. I think that will be the determining winner of the MEAC, be South Carolina and North Carolina Central. Chennis Berry, you just can't say enough about him. I was kind of upset at my alma mater that we didn't pull the trigger early on him and go ahead on and gave him the turkey and the dressing and the everything and say, hey man, come here. He's a talent.
Yeah.
I look for big things from him in South Carolina State. If it's not this year, watch out. Those Bulldogs is gonna be coming.
Yeah, those Bulldogs took it to Florida A&M, man. Remember at the beginning of the season, that was a one of those nail biters for the Rattlers because Bulldogs had the game, 3 3/4 of the game until the Rattlers came back to win. Could we see a rematch? If the Eagles, if they're able to get by the Eagles, could we see a rematch there?
That's very possible. You know, we talked about on my show the other day, and that looks like the route is going. But once again, he has to get by North Carolina Central. North Carolina Central now, they struggle with Alabama State in the run game.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
Siri, what's the name of the guy I had a meeting with a couple of months ago at Cafe Grinnell?
You met Zach Wingate at Cafe Grinnell.
Hey!
Zach!
Oh, wow, I didn't think you'd remember me.
Yeah, of course. As soon as I saw you, I'm like, it's Zach. Nobody walks like Zach.
I am genius.
Something amazing is happening here. Climate researchers are weathering a data storm. That's because CDW transformed their devices and infrastructure with Lenovo ThinkPads and powerful edge-to-cloud solutions, delivering faster insights and increased performance, giving them the scale to stay ready for whatever's next. Make amazing happen. Lenovo and CDW.
Prime Big Deal Days is coming October 8th and 9th. With exclusive savings just for Prime members, you'll feel like a big deal. Shop deals on electronics, fashion, and more this Prime Big Deal Days, October 8th and 9th.
No charger?
It's a Mac. The battery lasts all day. See you next week.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
You know, Andrew Body rushed for about 100 yards, 185 yards, something like that against them. So that's not good. And they missed a lot of tackles. Talking to Trey Oliver on that, he was a little disappointed in his defense. And that was one of the things that when we went back to see the film, that they did have Body in the grab sometime, but he was able to slip out for big yards. So I know Trey Oliver, he'll continue to work on that. I know he'll be ready, have his team coached up, but I also know that Chen's Berry will have his kids fired up, as well as the fans and whoever else listen to him.
Yeah, look, man, he got me every time I talk to Coach. You know, you just got to stop and listen because he's going to bring so much passion to the game and to help those young men develop. I like what he's doing there, as well as what Coach Trey Oliver is doing over at Central. Let's talk about one of your favorite divisions, a division you ruled at one time at SIAC. Man, Clark Atlanta, Johnson C. Smith. Who would have thunk it? Talk to me about it.
Bro, it's exciting. I mean, you know, Clark Atlanta has right now the best quarterback in black college football, and David Wright. I mean, I think he's got about 16 touchdowns already through 71 games, 4 last week. But they got to do better of playing together as a team. Their special team has pulled them out the last 2 games. They're scoring points, but they got to be better on defense as well as not turning the football over.
Right. And over at CIAA, man, Johnson C. Smith, and then you got Vi Union and Virginia State. But there's a team that's sneaking up, West Virginia State.
And don't forget about Winston-Salem.
And Winston-Salem, yes, right.
Winston-Salem State, Coach Massey over there, he upset Virginia State. I mean, they you know, and when I look back, Kyle, you know, I know these guys, these coaches they got over there in the MEAC and in the CIAA. They got some guys that got some coaching experience, have been some places. They all are going places. They do a great job over there, man. And that's the thing about the East Coast, SIC, CIAA. You know, they run that football, you know, and they play great sound defense. They have some heck of athletes over there. And as you see, you know, it's always balanced. And things are changing. You know, Winston-Salem used to be the top, fell off when they went to 1A, fell off back to 1A. But Coach Massey got them back going. You know, John C. Smith, I mean, wow, who would know that? You know what I'm saying? Elizabeth City, Bowie State. Matter of fact, I got the game between Bowie and Bluefield in about 2 weeks. So I'm looking excited. You know, I'm excited about doing that just to see really what's going on in CIAA, and maybe by then, you know, the clouds will start going away, and you can see, you know, who's going to be the top over there in the CIAA.
All right, look, we got to talk about our alma mater, your alma mater, my alma mater, but let's start with my alma mater first. What's going on with my Maroon Tigers? I know Coach Mathis is doing his best. They won one game. They defeated Kentucky State, and they've been on the road a lot. They went to New York. They went to Chicago. I mean, they're going into these classics left and right. But homecoming is coming up in a couple of weeks. How do you see the Tigers going through the rest of the season?
Well, you know, it's growing pain. You know, he got there late, and he's about the third or fourth coach there, and probably in the last, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
You know, I know the defense coordinator used to work for me. He's just hanging in there. He's saying that, you know, they got to get some continuity going, you know. And that's the thing about Morehouse. You know, they gotta make playing football important. You know, they gotta let Coach Massey stay there for a while, get his foot down in the ground, and don't change. You know, kind of go through the growing pains with him. Hopefully, I want to send a shout out to Coach Copeland, who's the defense coordinator. I should have said that, but it's gonna be a minute. As long as Teddy Key sitting there in Atlanta, Atlanta,
yeah,
and the way they recruit, it's gonna be real tough. They got 4 wide receivers. I don't mean to get off from Morehouse. They got 4 wide receivers that can play anywhere in the country, and that's why they're so successful.
Yeah. Now Morehouse has a young guy. What's his name? Ajon.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really, really talented young wide receiver as well, right?
Right. You know, but you got to have more. You know, got to have more than that.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't become so predictable that, you know, we're going to focus on throwing the ball to one guy. You know, and like I said, and I'll tell that to any coach, and any coach knows that's coaching this game, you got to be able to establish some type of run game to be successful throwing the football.
Yeah. Well, look, man, people keep on forgetting Clark Atlanta. You got some guys named, I forget those guys' name. Their last name escapes me. Cole, is it? That's on that staff. And, you know, your brothers are just taking it to them, man. And you got to give your brothers a lot of credit, as well as Coach Keaton. They are doing a great job over at Clark Atlanta.
You know, Coach Keaton, man, you know, I call him little brother now. And I can't say enough of great things about him, and him giving my brother an opportunity to stay in the business.
Yeah.
I think the things that have happened to my brother has been unfair. And you know, he brought a lot of stuff to Black college football when he took the job over at Tennessee State. You know, like getting a football operations guy, being a solo strength coach for your football program. About on Friday nights, we couldn't afford a hotel, so he took us to a campground. Big sponsorship. He brought big sponsorship from Women of the World Insurance Company. You know, he had us going in the right direction. And one of the things that I think we're forgetting is that he's the only Black college football coach to ever win a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution conference. Not just 1 year, 2 years. He finished
2 years, right?
number one in the country back there in 98 and 99. And so he produced so many players. Coaches have came up underneath him, have done a great job. And, you know, he's won everywhere he's been. Kyle, he's won everywhere he's been, high school, college, you know, the SIAC when we were there. You know, of course, the SWAC when he was at Alabama State, OVC. Now again, the SIC got one of the best defenses in the conference. Just his knowledge of the game is just off the charts. And Coach Keaton looked past all the innuendos and stuff like that, the things that was that untruth, and they're match in heaven. You know, you got, I call Coach he's the president, and LC is the head football coach. So they love it. They get after the coach, and they took Allen, who hadn't had a winning season and coached in 50 years. I don't know if you know this. Clark has only had one winning season in 38 years, and that was 65. And they had 4 or 5 winning seasons, 5 and 6 winning seasons, and they had 4-1 right now. They break history again. So that's for the par. When you talk about LC Cole, it's the same as the par as Teddy Keat. He's winning everywhere he goes. They got a great combination, and I wish them well, and I look forward to them to do spectacular things at Clark.
Yeah, look, I love it, man.
I got teasing Cal. I had to get this in. Well, sitting in Atlanta now, told they going to play a home game this week. They're going to have every rapper, R&B artist. They said they get orders from everybody. I said, it's going to be, it's going to be a spectacle.
Look, but it's good. And think about this. At the end of the season, Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, First Take is going to be on campus. That's going to be out it's just going to be bonzakas right now, because I can see those kids at the AUC Center just enjoying every bit of it. We've never had anything like that happen, man. Right. And I just remember the days when I was there, man. If we had somebody like a Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith to come, it's a family. Number one, AUC Center, we're all family. Mm-hmm. We like to compete against one another, but when I was there, Mo Brown was dominating everybody, but it was still a family atmosphere, and we had a good time. We always had a good time together, man. So that's money great.
Stephen A. Smith coming, and his boy's going to be coming. Oh,
that's right.
It's going to be crazy, though.
It's going to be off the chain.
Yeah. If I'm not doing something, I might have to get me a flight and come on down and check it out. I got a first class ticket. So Teddy to make sure that I'm taken care of.
There you go. Talk to me about your alma mater. So they started off the year, Coach Dishman. They went up to PV, dominated the Panthers from start to finish in that game. And Rice happened. Lamar, the disappointment, almost pulled off the upset against Lamar in Beaumont. And then Jackson State rolled into town, and Jackson State rolled into town in H-Town, man. I was there to witness it. What can Coach Dishman do to get this football team headed in the right direction? Because what concerned me, Coach, is he said he does not believe his players believe. What's your thoughts?
Well, first I want to put a feather in his cap. I thought he hired a mature staff. I didn't think the last staff was mature. I could see that the team is well coached. As far as the discipline part of it, I think that's very important. I think he has to go get some more explosive players. I don't like the fact that he have this committee thing of I'm not going to let nobody know who's starting and who's playing, and everybody has to compete for their position. Right. I think he's on the wrong level with that, because the starter might be a pretty good player, but the one behind him may be worse. In my experiences on that level, it's hard for you to go too deep and be just as good as the first guy. So I guess those are some things that he'll learn as he goes. I think he has the support from the administration.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
And, and they're going to give him everything that he needs. And those are things that you ask. Because at the end of the day, after his 4 years, hopefully he winning championships. And if he's not, the decision they made 15 years ago will be still hunting them.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that later, Coach. But yeah, you're right. It hasn't been headed in the right direction since you. And let's just put it out on the table. That is the elephant in the room, right? But Coach, when you visit the camp, you can see, and Coach McKinney had a great ride over there, I believe, in thinking about the type of talent he was able to bring in, Andrew Brody, Isaiah Hamilton, Owens, he brought in some great talent. They weren't able to put it together, he and his staff, to really get them to a championship level and championship caliber. How tough is it for you as a head coach to assemble the right staff and get you headed in the right direction?
I believe in systems, coach, and everybody just ain't a winner. If you got 100 coaches, out of those 100, you're only going to get about 20 of them or 15 of them. It really has a winning system. Chris, and not talking about him personally because he's a fantastic man. It's just a start-off coach. He's played the game, yes. He's coached several places, yes. But it's nothing like sitting in that chair, knowing where the restroom's at, knowing where the leak is, and if you don't know where the leak, it's about to come. Those are things that you have, and this is what we gonna do here. This is the standard. You got the bar, and this is where you got to meet. Not just the players, but the coaching staff, the janitor, the AD's got to be a part of it. It's got to be a team effort to get Texas Southern up and off the ground. And he's kind of finding his way, trying to put some things together. I like some of the ideals that he had, but you gotta be realistic as well, because sitting in that chair and you up in that office and you've made some decisions, that you have to live with. But when you come from experience, you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and what's the ramifications from it.
So, what did you think of the pitch I emailed you?
Yes, the one that you emailed me. I remember. The pitch? Oh, Dog Days. What a title. Here we are. Very Victorian, which I loved. Unique relationship is formed. I love unique relationships.
With a twist.
I know, because I read it.
Great. I'm going to tell them you're interested.
Prime Big Deal Days is coming October 8th and 9th. With exclusive savings just for Prime members, you'll feel like a big deal. Shop deals on electronics, fashion, and more this Prime Big Deal Days, October 8th and 9th.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
Something amazing is happening here. The next era of AI has arrived. CDW data engineers are helping organizations harness the power of AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. The power to run workloads faster means greater performance, giving your team a better shot at success. Make amazing happen. CDW.
Prime Big Deal Days is coming October 8th and 9th. With exclusive savings just for Prime members, you'll feel like a big deal. Shop deals on electronics, fashion, and more this Prime Big Deal Days, October 8th and 9th.
No charger?
It's a Mac. The battery lasts all day. See you next week.
And usually, when you've been there and done that, you can be successful.
Okay, cool. Let's have some fun, man, Coach. And I know you know the game so well, so I would like to kind of get your perspective on the games ahead. Since you're not calling the game this week, so you could be a little bit biased, so to speak. Would that be cool?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
All right, come on. Let's talk about the games ahead, man. In week 6, if we look at Winston-Salem State against Virginia Union, who wins?
Well, those are two tough CIAA football teams. Virginia Union going to be good every year. They got 36 scholarships. They really believe in that program up there. But I got to go with Winston-Salem. They on the move. I think when the team gets some momentum and going, and Winston-Salem has done that, I'm going to choose Winston-Salem.
All right.
Morgan
State is hosting Lincoln. How do you feel about that one?
Well, me and you probably can sit up and beat Lincoln. Any Lincoln team in this country is bad. Lincoln in California, Lincoln in Pennsylvania, Lincoln. Which Lincoln is that? Is that one in Missouri?
Look, Lincoln should be emancipated. Come on.
I'm just talking facts, Coach. You know I know black college football. Is this Lincoln? Which Lincoln is it? Is the one in Missouri?
It's Pennsylvania, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on to the next one, man. Now, this is a good game. Virginia State versus Johnson C. Smith.
I'm gonna go with Coach Frazier at Virginia State.
Ooh, you think the upset?
Yeah, I think Coach gonna put it together. He's good at that. He beat me. He's one of the few coaches that's beat me. So I'm gonna stand behind the guy that beat me, Coach Frazier, Virginia State.
All right. Let's talk about. Man, this is another good one. It's going to be kind of close here, but Savannah State versus Clark Atlanta.
Well,
I know which way you're going to go there.
I gotta go with
Panthers all the way, right?
Yeah, but they got to play better. They can't keep turning it over. Hopefully, they don't catch up with them this week. But they got to get that thing together. It's playing 4 quarters. Play 4 quarters offensive defense. Clark Atlanta.
All right. Tuskegee against the Maroon Tigers of Morehouse.
Tuskegee all the way. Morehouse is the little guys of the conference. They still trying to find their way.
Interesting you say that. Let's kind of ask this question. Morehouse wants to make the leap to the MEAC. They're getting enough push to be able to get that accomplished within the next year or two. Do you think, what else does Morehouse have to do to be able to get to that point? Because it seems to me Clark Atlanta might be more poised to make that leap versus Morehouse.
Coach, I had this talk on my show, and I don't want to get off of what we're trying to do, Coach. Those people that sit up in that room and make these type of stupid decisions, Coach.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? Without a football coach in there, without somebody in that room that done it. Florida A&M tried to go Division I when Coach Billy was there.
Billy Joe?
Billy Joe. And Billy Joe was winning the MEAC. And Billy Joe told him, we can't do it. We can't do it. They let Billy Joe go. They played Oklahoma. They played mine and got the dog beat out of them. And it killed that program for a couple of years. North Carolina A&T, and we talked about that just the other night. These people, and our enrollment shot up and up. Well, your enrollment shot up because of football. And so I had a call to come in. Oh man, we got a great engineering school. I said, well, I tell you what, I want you to put together an engineering seminar and see if you get 50,000. I said, y'all don't hurt that team, y'all don't hurt the university, don't hurt the school. They ain't 1 cent. It's not going to
happen, right? It's really kind of happening. I'm surprised how well the Pirates have been doing this year under an interim coach, really, right? Think about that.
Right.
That leap to that CAA conference hasn't been what those teams thought it was going to be.
And Cal, Coach Massey at Morehouse is not ready for that.
Right.
He don't have the experience. He don't have the players. He don't have the money. He don't have the coaching staff to go up on that level.
It'll be a disaster.
The MEAC does need teams.
Yeah.
But if they get up there, it'll take them 10 years. They probably will win 4 or 5 games in 10 years. Okay. Unless you don't fund that program and you don't get the leadership, and don't stop hiring your friend and your buddy and hire winning football coaches. Go find a winning football coach.
Well, we have one right here, so we'll talk later on that one. All right, let's talk about what's happening. Fort Valley against Edward Waters. Now, Edward Waters has been up and down this year, man.
Yeah, Toriano played for me. He's one of my mentees, Coach.
Oh, wow.
And we talked the other day, and a lot of times when you get these jobs, the first thing you do, I'm a head coach, I don't want to touch anything, you know. And this is the thing I was telling you, Cal, about you got to know stuff going in, you know, the young guy. But he's done a super job over there. I think if he gets more involved with calling his offense, I think they'll be the team that he wants them to be. But I just don't see him beating Fort Valley. I think Fort Valley got an experienced coach over there. I had a good time with Coach, and I got Fort Valley beating Edgewater.
Okay, let's jump into Central State against Miles. That's a good one.
Well, I just got through watching Miles, and it's going to be tough on Central State because they're going to come downhill. I got Miles. Miles going to run that ball. Coach Shea, he believe in running that football. Man, he has a great staff. He has a great staff over there. He got some former NFL players that have done their work. You know what I mean? They didn't jump the line, Cal. They coached high school. They've coached at other colleges. He got Coach George Pugh over there, which is a legend of his own. If you know anything about George Pugh, he was on the first recruiting class of Bear Bryant when Sam Bam Cunningham came from USC and beat Alabama.
Oh, my.
You know, so he's on that staff as well. And we had a great time this weekend breaking bread with those guys down in South Carolina. I got them big.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go to the SWAC. Jackson State against Alabama A&M. I think they call this, the Gulf Coast Classic now or something?
Oh, man, I know Alabama State used to play in the Gulf Coast Classic all the time, but I guess they got it down in Mobile. I guess it's just the game in Mobile because when I was at TSU, we used to play down there.
Okay.
Look, I got T.C. Taylor. He's jumped in his offensive coordinator deal. He said, ain't nobody driving the car but me. I think he's got them going in the right direction. They averaging over 400 points a game. A&M, man, it seems like they're just holding on. You know, that staff up there and Coach Maynard just like they just holding on, Coach. They're just holding on.
Yeah.
They're dying slowly, as you would say.
Yeah, well, I don't like to see that. Coach Maynard is a good guy, man.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Now, Southern is playing a out-of-conference team, but it's a Louisiana team, the Nichols Colonels there. Do you think they can hold their own over there?
You know, that's some type of interstate thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was coaching at Southern University, we used to play Nichols as well. I see Nichols winning. I don't think that Southern can score. You know, they still struggling. They still don't know who the quarterback gonna be this week. Is this guy? This week is that guy. They're good. You know, they so on defense, but I see Nichols State winning that football game.
Okay, and we got Prairie View against the Golden Lions. They're going up there to Pine Bluff.
Is Prairie View for real? Now they are one of the most unpredictable football teams. You know, they lose to Texas Southern big. You know.
Then they went to Louisiana and they won, and
then
they came back home and they lost. Yeah. So, it's very unpredictable, right?
Right. They just up and down, and we'll see if they real. If they can pull off 2 in a row, we'll see if they will. They should be able to beat Arkansas Pine Bluff because, of course, you know, Pine Bluff is struggling.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I thought Coach Hampton, especially with that young man, Mackay, was going to really come in and kind of shake some things up. And I saw them how they were able to come back against Texas Southern at the end of the season, that game when he brought them back from 17 down to be able to defeat the Tigers, but just didn't seem like they had been the same team. They lost by 72 points, then they won by 73 points. Then it's just been real up and down for those guys. So we shall see how that's going to happen for those guys. And your beloved Tigers, it's homecoming at Alexander Dooley Stadium against Virginia Lynchburg. And Virginia Lynchburg, that's a struggling program as well. So,
hey, I don't know which team is worse. Lincoln of California, Lynchburg, Lincoln of Pennsylvania. Hey, look, you got to do what you got to do. I get it, and I understand it's very important to win homecoming. They should win this football game and, give them a lift. And, we'll see. They might win a couple more games this year. They are showing potential. Let me say that.
Okay. Look, and I have to make a correction, guys. Prairie View is not playing the Golden Lions this week. I jumped ahead a week. They're playing Incarnate Word. That's a tough sledding.
You shook your head more like, yeah,
that's tough there, right?
See, Kyle, it's just no way that I'm playing those teams that sits there, in Texas with me. It kills you recruiting wise.
Yeah.
Now, if the money is great, the money got to be better than good. The money got to be great. You know what I mean? For me to take that.
Yes. But this year they have been on the road with 3 different teams that they had some money games. Of course, Michigan State went to Louisiana, and now Incarnate Word. And so we shall see. I just like to. I'm with you.
It's gonna be ugly.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would like to see Coach McDowell's team have some continuity going into these conference battles ahead, right? It's going to be very important that they show that continuity because Peters, he took him out of the game against Grambling, right?
Right.
And then they inserted young man Johnson. So what quarterback will you have? That's the question. And I'd like to get your thought on this. And I listened to enough NFL coaches talk about this from over the years, and I always would tell Coop on his program as well as Coach Darryl Stewart, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have much going in it as a team, especially in this day and age. Am I wrong? You played the quarterback position. Tell me about it.
I think the team sport is bigger than just that. I think it's just a phrase that people say. Do you have to have a quarterback but that can play? Yes. But there's so many other,
I know there are other elements, Coach.
If you got a great defense, then you don't have to score them, but you just got to have a great kicker. So is it right to say, oh, man, okay, well, if you got a great kicker, you got an opportunity. Then you got this outstanding quarterback and you scoring and you blowing the clock up, but then you can't stop no one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to put it all on there, and I felt when I won the championship at Texas Southern, I thought Arvell Nelson was a great kid. He was a leader on our football team. But if I had to rank him with my other quarterbacks, I couldn't rank him as high.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
Siri, what's the name of the guy I had a meeting with a couple of months ago at Cafe Grinnell?
You met Zach Wingate at Cafe Grinnell.
Hey.
Zach!
Oh, wow, I didn't think you'd remember me.
Yeah, of course. As soon as I saw you, I'm like, it's Zach. Nobody walks like Zach.
I am genius.
Something amazing is happening here. Climate researchers are weathering a data storm. That's because CDW transformed their devices and infrastructure with Lenovo ThinkPads and powerful edge-to-cloud solutions, delivering faster insights and increased performance, giving them the scale to stay ready for whatever's next. Make amazing happen. Lenovo and CDW.
Prime Big Deal Days is coming October 8th and 9th. With exclusive savings just for Prime members, you'll feel like a big deal. Shop deals on electronics, fashion, and more this Prime Big Deal Days, October 8th and 9th.
No charger?
It's a Mac. The battery lasts all day.
See you next week.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
You know, but we won the championship because what? We finished #1 in the country. So I'm talking from experience. I'm not talking from, being in the barbershop and some guys throwing some stuff up on the wall, So no, that's not, I think it's just a nice saying, but it's good to have one, though. It's definitely good to have one.
Yeah. Let's talk about a kid that I love this kid, Andrew Bott. And coming back that first game, you saw the talent that was there, right? Being in that 2-quarterback type system, I think Andrew showed that he was well above that, with the type of play he was playing. Now that he's out for the remainder of the season and he's going to have a chance to come back, would you say he needs to have a offensive scheme that can be able to tailor to not only his rushing ability, but also his passing ability?
Bobby is a special kid. He has all the tools. The thing I like is about his leadership. And definitely we would have to work on his intermediate. He throws the long ball just as good as anybody.
Sure does.
And his running ability is just as better than anybody. He's exciting, he's electric. Sometimes kids just get in the bad system, don't get the teaching that they need of his strong point. Body to me is just like what has happened to him is just like every other black kid in America that plays quarterback or playing in Little League, where he runs and scrambles all over the field and scores and everybody's screaming how good he is instead of somebody teaching him, hey, you missed the primary, you missed the secondary receiver, you missed the third guy. If I tell you, watch the back, throw it to the back. Yeah, I know you made an exciting play. And a lot of times, that these black quarterbacks, that's what has happened to them in the past. Then once they get to these levels where the defensive line and linebackers run just as fast as they can, then that comes out where they depends on their leg instead of depending on their eyes and their arm and seeing what's going on. So I've been seeing that for a long time. Mosley, I've just been seeing that a long time, that a lot of times these kids are not being coached. They should be coached every play. Stop falling in love with the talent. Stop falling in love with the fantastic play, but more falling in love with when we start playing better teams, you ain't gonna be able to do that. And that's when you have to depend on what you see and not your legs.
Interesting. And I kind of agree with you, man. So I'm not trying to cause controversy, but if you were advising Andrew at this time, what type of system would you be looking for? Or if you had to ask Coach Robinson and the offensive coordinator, what would you be asking them to do for you for next season?
Well, he hopefully on this offseason, he's doing a lot of film work and just watching plays and watching how these things develop. I don't want to get off subject. I think Shador, the reason why they winning now, hopefully somebody has got to him and told him, it ain't the offensive line that's getting you sacked. It's the first and foremost is you getting yourself sacked.
Right.
And then second is the offensive coordinator is getting sacked because they're not even trying to run the football. you gotta slow them defensive linemen down. You know what I mean? And when they know that you're gonna come out and you're gonna throw on first down and second down and third down, because they scout you and they'll put up every first down play. And if you're throwing the ball 85% of the time on the first play, what you telling your defense line? They screaming off the ball. You know what I mean? And the other thing is, Shedeur, when you hit that back step, if it ain't there, go get me 3.5 yards. I'm not asking you to scramble for a touchdown, but don't get sacked. I'd rather be 2nd and 7.5. 6.5, because I want to get a first down. Like 3.5 is a first down, right, Coach?
Right.
So give me 3.5. I'd rather be 2nd and 6.5 than 2nd and 15 or 2nd and 20. So a lot of that is him. And good thing I wasn't none of those kids' father. I'd have been if I was an offensive line coach, I'd have been all up in the offense. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not, Coach. You know
I
you
watched some of these last 2 games, and I know some coaches on his coaching staff, which I've said those same things. That he's got to run that football. He's got to get out and make sure that those guys are not pinning their ears back, and make sure they let them know he will run the football. And then they got to do some screens and draws. They got to run some power game. And just play the game. And his biggest issue, and I can say it because I know his quarterback coach. His father is one of my good friends. Is tell him to quit worrying about stats. He got the money. He got the money already without stats.
Yeah, there you go.
And winning is more important than me showing my band. You see my band, I wear this, so I'm showing that, and those are things that I think the body has to go through. I think he needs a quarterback coach that sits with him and go over those things.
Okay, cool. All right, I want to get your opinion on these guys here. You see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Right now, would you say Florida A&M and NCCU and Jackson State are the top 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I would put NCCU number 1.
Okay. All right. Good. And Jackson State number 3?
Yeah, Florida A&M has to show me that they can stop the run.
Okay, cool. All right, Coach, any last thoughts about what's happening out there in HBCU football right now?
Well, first I want to thank you, Kyle. You've always been a fan of mine, and I should say a fan, of more of a friend, and when things were down, you was there for me. And they went down in a way of I'm about to lose my way, but you were there. And I want to appreciate that. I want to support your show. Some great things happening in the HBCU realm. Watch and support HBCU Go TV. It's more than just about football. They got basketball. They got what's going on today. They got all kind of shows as far as life shows. So continue to support that. And
all right, Coach. Appreciate you, man. Tell everybody how they can find you on the World Wide Web.
Well, I'm of course on Facebook and podcast, HBCU Go, Coach's Corner, Instagram.
You guys got to check them out, man. They do a great job.
Coldblooded.TSU number 9, and watch me on HBCU Go. Get the app; it's a free app. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm just glad I'm a part of it, and I'm working hard to be a loyal teammate, and just put the work in, Coach.
You're putting in the work, and I appreciate you, and I love what you're doing as always, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in to Coach Johnnie Cole, as well as me, old Kyle T. Mosley, here with the Black Sports Insiders, as well as don't forget to check us out at HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated. You can go to hbculegends.net and read up on all the articles that we produce there, as well as the videos as well. So, Coach, appreciate you, man. You guys have a great one. We're going to have a great week 6 in college football. Take care.